right, everybody. I am back. I have a guest. You're going to recognize the voice. He was on the show before. I recognize the voice because I've known him since what, 1970.
The 30s.
It's like, oh yeah, we met during the Great Depression, and and then
You still make me laugh, brother. You still make me laugh.
and then in the '80s we decided to start doing comedy and all that kind of stuff. But I wanted to have Nick on the show because he's doing a show close to my heart, my friends. It's called Proud to Be a Philadelphian, and I am. I'm not there now, but I am from Philadelphia, and if anybody's got a problem with that, you know what I'm saying? All right.
S. Anthony, if you were born in our city and you leave, you are always a Philadelphian. There is no two ways about it. You can take the boy out of Philly, but you can never take Philly out of the boy. And that's how every Philadelphian is, no matter where they live in this country.
Mm-hmm. I found that out because when I lived in Los Angeles, um, everybody else, when they moved to Los Angeles, became a Lakers fan or this or that. And I was still like this. How about the Lakers?
Are you kidding? Are you kidding me?
Hey, you gonna become a Cowboys fan now that you're in Texas?
Uh,
Wow.
uh, I deal with them clowns in my show.
So I got to find out about this show. You got the show, Proud to Be a Philadelphian. I want to hear about this. And, you know, I think everybody that's from Philly is Philly. No matter, like you said, no matter where we go, we're Philly. And so what made you decide to write an entire show about this?
Um, First off, I wanted to be in the Philadelphia Fringe Festival. It was
Mhm.
on my bucket list.
Mhm.
Being 64, I've made the turn in my life down the home stretch.
Mhm.
So, like we were talking earlier, just happy to get up every morning.
Mhm.
So, I always wanted to be in the Fringe Festival. I think if you're a true Philadelphian on your bucket list, you should march in the Mummers Day Parade, which I have done in the late 70s. And I always wanted to be in the Fringe Festival. I always I saw a few shows years past, and I always said to myself, hey, so New Year's resolution, Fringe show. And that's when I started writing this show. And it is called Proud to Be a Philadelphian. And it's basically my opinion that, listen, Philadelphia is the greatest city in this country. And I could argue with anybody, and I got facts to back me up. And I really frustrated with the lack of respect we get
Mhm.
and the hate that we get from the outsiders.
Mhm.
You know it. They hate us. And we have given this country so much, and yet they still hate us. And it it's worn me down. I'm 64 years old, and you start realizing about the hate, like when you get in your teens and stuff like that, and you venture out. When you go on vacation, when I go on vacation, I represent. I
Mhm.
always have my Phillies shirt on. I bring Eagles jersey with me, Sixers, Flyers hat, whatever. When I'm out on the beach in Aruba, Jamaica,
Mhm.
I'm in San Diego, I'm in Vegas, wherever. Amsterdam. I represented Philly in Amsterdam. I represent the city. And you can see the looks you get from people.
Mhm.
The looks you get. Some people will even like step aside because they think we're so
Mhm.
crazy and dangerous. And you know what? I'll play to that.
Mhm.
I always, if you look at me and you know that I'm an actor, I get a lot of mob roles.
Mhm.
And when I first started working in Center City right out of high school, I would always get people say to me, "Oh, were you in the mob?" And I would never say anything like, I wouldn't say, "No, I'm not in the mob." If you want to think that and it's going to be to my advantage, I'll play it.
Mm-hmm.
So if people want to perceive us like that, I'm okay with it if it's going to be to my advantage.
Mm-hmm.
But once they start opening their mouth up and start yapping about how horrible Philadelphia is, that's when I step up and just lay the facts down.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to, I'm nonviolent. I don't have to get in a fight with you. I could slaughter your butt with words.
Mm-hmm.
And that's basically what I do. So I always wanted to show my frustration to from the outsiders.
Mm-hmm.
The frustration that I have with them, the way they treat us Philadelphians. We're the stepchild in between New York and Washington.
True.
But yet everything started here.
Mm-hmm.
Everything in this country started right here in our city. So before I die, I want the outsiders to know that I'm not thrilled with the way they have treated us in my entire life. And that's what brought me to write this show. Like I said, I started it in January, and just doing the research on our city. Yeah, because I do a brief history of Philadelphia. The stuff that I found out about Philadelphia that I did not know, being a lifelong resident. One, I was a little ashamed.
Mm-hmm.
I was a little ashamed not knowing that this person was born here and this invention was made here, and it was like, oh my God, I have to. And then I took me like 2-3 months to do the research, and 2 3 months to do the structure of
Mm-hmm.
how I wanted to present the show. And I'd say in the last 3.5 months, I have been rehearsing every day. The
How
show
long?
runs,
Yeah. Go ahead.
it goes anywhere from 75 to 85 minutes, depending on it's part storytelling, part improv. So, like, if I see a slide, it's basically a PowerPoint presentation.
Mm-hmm.
I have an 82-inch monitor behind me. I have uh, a little clicker, and you will see 150 reasons why, in my opinion, Philadelphia is the greatest city in this country.
That is a nice long show. Because a lot of times when I see people do one person shows, they're kind of short. Even if they have props, PowerPoint presentation, and things of that nature, they're usually kind of short. That is a long show, and to hold people's audiences, an audience's attention that long, and as someone that's done stand up, how difficult it is to keep an audience's attention for an hour, hour 15, hour and a half, to move them from point A to point B, and to keep the momentum going. And I think that the simple fact that this means so much to you is actually a help, because let's be honest, it seems to me from what I've seen, what you said so far, that this isn't just a performance. This is, of course, a labor of love as well.
Absolutely. You will see me go on an emotional roller coaster ride,
Mm.
and you will see the passion. That's what we Philadelphians have. And that's what the outsiders don't understand about us, is
Mm-hmm.
our passion. We're passionate people.
This is true.
And I really think that is because of the neighborhoods that we all grew up in.
Mm-hmm.
That makes us passionate. We're we're passionate with each other. We rib, and you were a kid, you sat on the steps and you did the mom jokes, you did
Mm-hmm.
this, you did that. We all did that as kids, especially you're around my age back in the day, in the
Mm-hmm.
60s and the 70s. That's what we did. And we would represent our neighborhoods. I remember I was in a gang. This is a funny story. I grew up in Kensington when I was a little kid. Yeah. Surprise, you know how I am. And I grew up in Kensington. But anyway, the Hells Angels had a house around the corner from where we used to hang at. We used to hang at Schiller and H Street. It's in Kensington. And the Hells Angels had a house around the corner. And we used to go look at the bikes, and they invited us, a couple of us guys, in the house.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're 12 years old and you see a naked girl, you want to be a Hell's Angel, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
we started our own gang.
Mm-hmm.
We were the S&H gang, and we didn't have like fights, but we were a group that had each other's back,
Mm-hmm.
and nobody in any other parts of the neighborhood messed with the S&H gang. They knew about us,
Mm-hmm.
and they sort of knew that we were friends with the Hells Angels. So even the adults
Mm-hmm.
really let us do what we wanted to do, but we didn't take advantage of it. Like, we didn't rob things. Well, maybe one thing. We didn't really do a lot of a lot of things as 12-year-olds, but you know, we did the milkman trick. Did you ever do that when you were a kid? We used to
No.
sleep out. The milkman trick back in the 60s was, we would sleep over somebody's house. You would just tell your mom, I'm sleeping over Johnny's house tonight. Okay. Well, this guy had a garage that we'd all bring our sleeping bags.
Mm-hmm.
We would get up 4 o'clock in the morning, and we would go out and put notes in milk bottles. Hey, kids, back in the day, milkmen delivered milk to the house,
Mm-hmm.
and we would put notes in the bottles. Please leave a half a gallon of chocolate milk. Please leave a can of whipped cream.
Mm-hmm.
And we would hide. And when the milkman would come and get the note, and if he put it on the step, boom, we swept in. So it's a neighborhood thing in Philadelphia. We all come from, there's 200 neighborhoods in our city, and we protect them, and we're very prideful of them. And Philadelphians are just passionate about their city. So I wanted to show people how passionate I am. And even though I'm an actor, I do not act in this. This is raw emotion. My wife watches the show every night, and she is, now, is she a homer? Of course she is. She almost has to be a homer.
Mm-hmm.
But she takes notes and she tells me this and that. I think when you do it this way, it comes across really good. And I almost bring myself to tears talking about some of the stuff that our city has done for not just our city, but for this country.
Mm-hmm.
For this country. And I know people that may listen to this are going to be haters of Philadelphia, but hey, the host here is one of the best people doing podcasts, and he is a Philadelphian. And if you have ever met me personally, I've worked with comics all over this country. I am one of the first guys to say, hey, I love that joke. What do you think of this tagline?
Mm-hmm.
They love them. It's yours.
Yeah.
It's yours.
Yeah.
We always champion other people. And that's what Philadelphians do.
Yeah. One of the things that used to always crack me up well, it didn't crack me, but annoyed me when I was a child. I would see them have the national weather map, and it would always have New York, Baltimore, and DC. And I'm going, there's another city right in there somewhere,
Yeah.
second in population of the group that you're mentioning.
Yeah.
And and that still annoyed me as a child. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm saying, if you go to New York, DC, Baltimore, the last time I checked, there's a city that's pretty big. It was the first capital, fifth biggest television market.
Preach it, brother. Preach it.
Maybe you want to mention that city. And that's the thing about it, about us here, is the simple fact that the way I describe it to people who've never been here is it's the perfect combination of large city and small town. Because, as you said, the neighborhoods are like small towns inside of a gigantic city. There's nothing that. I had some friends move to the area from outside. I said, you got to understand something. Everything that New York has, it's going to be in Philadelphia. In fact, the Broadway casts are going to come to Philadelphia. All the stars have to come to Philadelphia. We're a gigantic city. You're not going to go someplace else and have something that we don't have here for the most part. You literally could be born in Philadelphia, go to school in Philadelphia, have your career in Philadelphia, and not really miss out on much, if anything at all, because everything's here. And I don't think people understand that. And it's amazing how many people actually literally come here and meet Philadelphians and have a perception of what they think we are, right? And then once they've been here for a few months, you start seeing the Philadelphia kind of wash over them a little bit. And they start to
Mhm.
become one of us and they start to understand. And then all of a sudden you start seeing the hat come on with the Jalen Hurts t-shirt pull out. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, aren't you from a rival city? Yeah, but this place is great. Like, yeah, it's because you're
I,
here. You're not listening to what other people who've never been here say.
it's funny that you brought up New York and the Broadway and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The first theater in this country was the Walnut Street Theater. It is the oldest continuously operated theater in America. It was the first theater in this country. Everybody came to Philadelphia to go to the Walnut Street Theater. And it's funny that you mentioned about people from other cities and when you cohabitate,
Mm-hmm.
when you mingle. I took acting classes up in New York, and I was one of the oldest guys in the class, and there was another older guy like my age in the class, and the teacher at the end of the class said, "Find somebody to partner up with to do a scene." So I went up to him and I said, "Listen," I said, "would you be interested in working with me, or do you want to work with one of the young kids?" And he goes, "I think you probably have the work ethic that I'm looking for." I said, "I'm from Philadelphia. I definitely have the work ethic." And we became great friends. I actually went up a month and a half ago. My wife and we got a hotel room for 2 nights. He had a show that he wrote and co-directed, and we went up and saw his show both nights. I got tickets for both nights. We Philadelphians, if you're from out of state, we will be very friendly to you. Don't think that we are miserable people that hate everything. The problem with us Philadelphians, we're honest. We're honest. And we will tell you the truth.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a Philadelphian, if most Philadelphia husbands, if their wife says, "Do I look fat in these pants?" If they do, they're going to say, "Yeah, hon. Yeah, you look fat in them pants." Put some. We just tell the truth.
Mm-hmm.
We tell the truth. And that's where I think it's misconceived about us that we're obnoxious. No, we just tell the truth.
You know,
You
it's
know,
hilarious. You know, this is hilarious, man. It goes along with what you're saying. I had some people say, why do you guys boo your team? This is the best way I would explain how we feel, especially about the Eagles. Other cities have football teams that they're fans of. The Philadelphia Eagles is our child. You understand what I'm saying? So if you have a
wait a
kid,
minute. Let me write that down for my show. Hold on.
that's our baby. And so it's like if you have a kid or a nephew or whatever kid that you love, when they start screwing up, like if I had when my nephews were children and they were staying with me and they did something dumb, I'm not gonna go, well, it's okay that you decided to put that fork into the electric socket. Why did you want to put that fork in the electric socket? I went, man, get the fork out the electric socket, idiot. Get over there and sit down. You know, and I explained the electricity to him. And that's how we are with the team. It's like if you screw up, we're not, first of all, we're booing you, but we're there. We spent the $200 for the ticket, the $50 to park, and we're there 8 times a year and watch it on television. It's not like we boo it and don't come back. We were there when the team stunk. So we get to enjoy it when it's good. And it's like when I watch the commentators, and they're always, every time they mention Philadelphia, they always mention the same story. Oh, he punched a horse. You never seen people act like idiots after a Super Bowl win in another city?
They kill people in other stadiums. Try
Mm-hmm.
to go to a San Fran LA Raiders game.
I lived in San Francisco for a
Yeah,
while.
yeah. There every game there's usually chalk linings of people, dead people in the parking lot.
Ooh.
It's like they just regurgitate the same stories about us
Mm-hmm.
over and over again. And it's like, enough. We've heard it.
Mm-hmm.
You've played it out. Stop. Just stop. We've heard it enough. And to be honest with you, it's bull crap
Mm-hmm.
from the get-go. Okay. So I don't want to give all my show secrets away
Oh,
here.
I'm staying away from that.
No, no, no. That's just one. I mean,
Yeah.
I could go on a tangent of what
Mm-hmm.
you had just said. I
Mm-hmm.
have everything about what you had just said in my
Mm-hmm.
show about that. It's just that I think Philadelphians are misunderstood. I
Mm-hmm.
really do. If you get to know us, we most likely would become one of your best friends.
Mm-hmm.
Like the guy up in New York. We Zoom every other week and talk to each other. I asked him what's going on in New York. He asked me what's going on in Philadelphia. And that's what, if you give Philly a chance,
Mm-hmm.
you'll get to know us. But the outsiders don't give us a chance.
Mm-hmm.
They just want to hate. And that's what this world has come to. People just want to hate. The people that are sleeping in mom's basement that are 30, 40 years old, and they get their phone and they could put hate in there, but yet if they were to face somebody and say that, especially a Philadelphian,
Mm-hmm.
that mouth would be zipped and they'd be quiet. But because you have the power of being unrecognized today with your hate, it goes on and on and on. But like I said, Philadelphia has some of the greatest things that we have contributed to this, to the world,
Mm-hmm.
not just to the country, to the world. And we never get credit for it.
Mm-hmm.
They never, ever give us credit for it. That's okay. That's okay. As long as we know it. There's a great saying. It's in my show, but I'm going to give it to you. We don't have any control over how we're perceived, and we don't have any control over what is said about us. But we do have 100% control of what we think about ourselves. What we think about ourselves. And that's what I think Philadelphians do. We hear that noise, well, we know what we are. We know who we are. If there's a fire in the neighborhood and then people get burned out of their house, is there not boxes of food, boxes of clothes being brought into other people's house? We take care of each other, man.
Mm-hmm.
We're not as rough and edgy. We might be, look, you know where we get the bad reputation is if you come to an Eagles game, say, wearing a Dallas Cowboys jersey. First off, I don't think we're as mad that you're a Cowboys fan. We're mad that you're that stupid to walk into our stadium with the Dallas Cowboys jersey on. I mean, we're going to mock you for your stupidity. It's not that we want to beat you up, but and Philadelphia has the greatest wit out of any fans.
Mm-hmm.
We could say things that would just make people cry and have made people cry. I take pride in that.
Mm-hmm.
I take pride in that. I mean, should I be able to go to another stadium wearing a Phillies jersey or an Eagles jersey? Yeah, sure. But I expect you to bring it on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not looking for a fight, but we'll get in a debate. And then when my team's kicking your butt on the field, I'll just look at the scoreboard.
Yeah. You know what the funny thing is? This is what I found out, which is hilarious, is I've had some people that I knew that were Dallas Cowboy fans, but they were from Texas. Right. So when the people were going, you stay, I said, well, he's actually from Texas. They go, oh. It was almost like, well, I expect, but they really don't like is the guy from Cherry Hill. You know what I'm saying? Who's a Dallas Cowboy fan, and you're going, get out of here.
Yeah.
Contrarian, which is fine, is their right, but come on, man, stop.
Yeah.
It.
Well, we Philadelphians have respect for our neighboring brothers and sisters, so-called the Delaware Valley area. we have respect. They're not the outsiders.
Mm-hmm.
The outsiders are in other states.
Mm-hmm.
And they're the ones that love to hate us. But again, to the people that are going to see this and follow this great podcaster, Philadelphians are really nice people. We really are. And we would bend over backwards to help you in a situation. But we are also, if you come to our town and you walk up and say to us, hey, can you tell me where the Rocky Steps are? We're going to look at you and give you a dirty look. I'm going to say, no, I don't know where the Rocky Steps are, but if you want me to tell you where the steps to one of the greatest museums in the United States of America are, I'd be happy to do that. By the way, are you planning to do the Rocky run up the steps? Because when you come down, you might get mugged because people are going to know you're an outsider from out of town, because we Philadelphians don't do that.
No.
Okay, that's for you guys to do.
And first of all, he ran all of South Philadelphia, then ran up the steps.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the first thing.
They took an Uber to the steps.
It's like he ran. I ran up some steps. Did you run the entire length of South Philadelphia at full speed? Did you jump over some steps? No, and shut up. You got your hands up like you did something. I did an hour of cardio at the gym 5 days a week. Big deal.
Yeah.
That's the part that always cracked me up. Like this, I mean, because I remember a friend of mine, and we were going there, and I took him there, and I go, okay, let me take this guy. I took him to Pat's and Gino's. I was like, what's that? I was like, all right, I'm gonna take you all the touristy crap, really, and then I'm gonna show you Philadelphia after that, because you're starting to annoy me with this, Constitution Center and all this kind of stuff. Okay, that, and then he starts running up the steps. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And I'm at the bottom of the steps laughing at him. He's got the arms up and everything. I'm going, all right, he's from, okay, I'm not going to say it. Of course, I roasted him as soon as he came down the steps for like a half an hour in the car. What a loser, and but I couldn't help it. I got to roast this guy. He's a friend of mine. If he was just some regular person, but it's like he's a performer too. So I got to light this guy up in the car for being an idiot. But that was one of the funniest things. But this is what I want to ask you, because I knew about the Fringe Festival. And how did you actually get that going? Because I know there's a lot of people trying to get in on that.
Okay. Well, the smart thing that I did was, when I was in acting class in Philadelphia, I went to Playhouse West Acting School. And one of the first things that we had to do, well, not one of the first things, but we would have a film festival every year. And our teacher sort of told us that we should make our own movie. So I had a producer for my movie. I had a director for my movie. I co-wrote the movie. I co-directed it. And I took a very small acting role in it. And the movie was about my life. So I had a younger actor play me, and I played my father. And we never had a good relationship. And that's what the movie was about. So what I did was, the guy that produced my movie, he did a really good job with producing my movie. I hired him to produce this show. He got me entered into the Fringe Festival. He found me the venue, which is probably one of the nicest buildings in the city of Philadelphia, the Curtis Institute at 6th and Walnut. If you go into the Curtis Institute, it used to be a publishing house, Cyrus Curtis. It used to be like Women's Home Journal and newspapers. And I mean, it was the biggest publishing place in America at the time. And they have a piece of art in there. It's called The Garden. And as Anthony, I'm telling you, it is probably 30 to 40 feet long. Takes up a whole wall. It is worth $4 million. It is made of Tiffany glass. Steve Wynn, the casino mogul out in LA, bought it. Was going to move it out there. Historical Society said, no. We're going to buy it back off you. It's staying here in Philadelphia. It's been part of this building since Cyrus built the building, and it's going to stay here. The building is all marble. It is absolutely gorgeous. It takes the whole corner on Walnut between 6th and 7th. It is a beautiful thing. So they have a theater in there called the Red Rum Theater, and my producer got the venue for Wednesday, the 20th of September, the 21st, and the 22nd. It's Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I'm just doing 3 shows. They start at 8 o'clock. If you go to phillyfringe.com and they have a keyword box, if you put the word proud in there, my show comes up right away. Mm-hmm. I made the tickets very, compared to other tickets in the Fringe Festival, moderately cheap, $15. And I mean, I think if you're a true Philadelphian and you love this city and you're tired of hearing the negativity about it, you want to see this show. You want to see that, because I know you feel the same way I do. I know people in the seats are going to feel like I do, and their emotions are going to follow me through my body, and my words will be coming out. I know that. I know, because I've performed it here for a couple people. Dude, I felt this. I felt that. Yeah, matter of fact, when I went down, I rented the monitor in Yading. So I went down and I hooked my computer up just to see how the slides looked on the 82-inch monitor. And the guys, there was 5 guys in the garage, and I'm running the slides. First off, I was a nice Philly guy. I bring them soft pretzels. I asked the guy, how many guys you got working at the place? 12. I bring them a dozen soft pretzels. So I'm running the slides, and they're all standing there looking at them. I said, I might as well do my show. I might as well do my show. So I didn't do my whole show, but I'm like commenting on the slides. And get done. I said to the guy, I said, what did you think? Because slides look great. He goes, dude, I didn't realize that about Philadelphia. I didn't realize the history of Philadelphia. And this is not like a stand-up comedy show. So if people come and see me do stand-up comedy, I'm not doing stand-up comedy. There's my sarcastic things about the slides, my sarcasm about how the outsiders treat us. So there is definitely funny things in here, but this ain't a joke. Hey, what do you do for a living, Bob? I don't do that. Not in this show.
No, before I let you go, I got to find out this thing here. Did you record it, or are you going to record this show?
I have a film crew coming out on Thursday night. I actually have reached out to venues, other venues in the city, neighborhood venues. Like, have you ever done like a Fran Lee Caterers stand up?
Yeah.
Galdo's in South Philadelphia. Well, I have people from Fran Lee's coming the night that I'm filming, and they're going to see if they want to bring this. And I got to be honest with you, Stephen. If I only do this for 3 nights, I fulfilled something that I wanted. I have gotten it off my chest the way I feel my frustration for how our city is perceived. So I'm cool with that. I'm good with that. If I break even or even lose money, I'm okay with that, because I feel that I've made some art that is valuable to Philadelphians to hear and see how great our city is. I'm telling you now, if you come to the show, you're going to be surprised on some of the history that I dug up about this city. It is incredible. It is incredible.
Now, for those of you watching, I'm going to recommend that you check out the show, obviously, as a Philadelphian and as a friend of Nick, and I know how talented he is. So go see the show. You understand what I'm saying to you? Nick, I want to thank you for coming on again, my friend. Of course, I'm going to have you on again after this. You know that.
Stephen,
you have no
I love talking with you. I always laugh, and I love laughing, and that's what's made my life in this city great. All the great comics like you and the rest of them that I've hung out with for the last 35 years. I'm a happy man. I'm a happy man. I could die a happy man.
All right, my
But
friends.
before I do, I'm going to let the world know what I think about Philly.
All right, my friend. This has been a friend of mine, a very talented man. I am going to tell you, you need to go see this show. I'm going to do what I'm going to try to go see the last one because have like a couple things I have to take care of on the 20th. But we'll talk about that after the show. My friends, that has been this episode. Go see the show. You dig? All right.